while I didn't think you were going to make it, Doc.
And missed your last day to receive visitors?
I expected you an hour ago.
Well, I could tell you that something came up at work and made me late.
That would be a lie, right?
No, it would be the truth, but I figured you don't much care about how my day got screwed up.
Funny. How a little thing like being one night away from the electric chair can just suck the urgency out of everybody else's problems. You haven't asked me yet how I'm feeling.
I think you'll tell me if you want me to know.
Damn right. Give me control. Oh, last sliver of my life.
It might help you face...
Oh, don't try to comfort me!
The purpose of our talks has never been your comfort, Gunther. You know that.
Here we go again. The purpose of therapy is to make you understand yourself and patch the holes in who you are.
You were listening.
But since fixing me is a moot point, you want to figure out how to keep other guys from being like me.
More or less.
And write a book about your conversations with a monster.
Perhaps a chapter, but not a whole book.
I forgot. You dance with all the psychos, don't you?
Jealousy from you.
Not really, Doc. I guess somebody has to research people like me.
Of all the murderers I've studied and the dozen or so I've interviewed, I can safely say almost no one is like you.
So I can take pride in something, huh?
If you let it.
What makes me different?
For everybody else, there's a pattern, a way of looking at them that explains who they are and why they did what they did.
What kind of pattern?
Child abuse, sexual abuse, drug or alcohol dependency, head trauma, brain disease, documented descents into madness.
Do tell.
Manson's mother swapped him for a pitcher of beer when he was a baby.
Oh, whoops. There goes the self-esteem.
As a child, Dahmer tortured animals.
Oh, practice will get you to Carnegie Hall.
Henry Lee Lucas's prostitute mother made him wear a dress, and one of his so-called uncles whacked him in the head with a 2x4. But I found nothing like that in your past.
Then what made me?
That's the puzzle. A good home, stable, loving parents, a full scholarship to study art at NYU. Even before you graduated, several of your paintings were snapped up by leading galleries.
How lucky can you get?
You came here from New York to teach painting for the Art Institute. You were married with a child at the time of your arrest, and no one, not your parents, your brothers, your friends, not even your own wife, had any idea what you would become.
Bundy led a double life, right? He was smart too. Didn't he have a psychology degree?
Just a bachelor's.
That's all I've got.
Bundy's adolescence was marked with violent outbursts and voyeurism, and a deepening obsessive personality. But you, no obsessions or compulsions, apart from your painting.
I'm told John Wayne Gacy was a painter. And so was Hitler.
You were actually good at it.
Uniquely gifted. What Cricket said. Does it bother you there's nobody like me?
Actually, Gunther, I never said nobody was like you. I said almost nobody was like you. In some ways, you remind me of Mudgett.
Mudgett? Did he paint?
No. Herman Webster Mudgett was a doctor. His favorite alias was H.H. Holmes. He turned his Chicago boarding house into a torture palace for the 1893 World's Fair.
Why do I remind you of him?
He had a hypnotic personality too. People, especially women, seemed to just gravitate toward him, the same way they gravitated to you. He could talk almost anyone into anything.
A real charmer, eh?
And, well, his motives were as vague. Maybe greed at first. He bilked his victims out of their money the same way you cleaned out the bank accounts of yours.
So he did it for the money?
With all the imagination he put into killing, trapdoors and chutes, a secret gas chamber, a special room for burning people alive. No, that was more than greed.
It was genius.
It was a lack of conscience, coupled with a curiosity about the mechanics of death. He wanted to know what it felt like to kill.
What about me? After all these interviews, you must have some idea.
Well, I know it wasn't for the money. By the way,
No, I won't tell you where I've hidden it. That goes into the ground with me.
I wasn't asking. I was going to share another shrink's theory, that by painting your victims so beautifully, you used canvas to undo the damage you did to their flesh.
Really? A fusion of the impulse to create and the impulse to destroy.
Something like that. But I still can't figure out what triggered it, or why the hypnotic personality, which makes some people lawyers or actors or teachers, made you a killer.
Maybe some things just pass all understanding.
Isn't it pretty to think so?
Nice one, Doc. My King James Trust, parried by a Hemingway.
The advantages of a liberal education.
Oh, I was so close to whipping out my Oscar Wilde. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. When you're dead, it's been fun.
It was addictive, wasn't it?
Talking to you,
No. The satisfaction you felt at each perfect kill. Evil's like that, isn't it? So subtle and addictive, you've sold your soul before you know it.
what if I told you it was more like a virus? Once you've got it, it changes you in ways you never imagined. Ever feel like you could do anything? I mean anything. No shame, no boundaries, no limits.
There are always limits.
That's so conventional, so you. But rules are for prey, not for predators.
And you're a predator.
Imagine a comet or an eagle. A great big bird that flies wherever it wants and eats whatever it wants. Nothing on earth is freer. Put it in a cage and it will survive, but it won't soar again until it's let out. And once it's out, it doesn't remember the hand that opened the cage door.
You don't know what let you out of your cage.
No, I am the cage. And there's something inside me that needs to soar. By freeing it, I free myself. Even when I'm strapped in tomorrow night, I'll be freer than you've ever been. That's all, Doc. I've got to get ready to walk into the pages of history. Oh, I left something for you with the guys out front. They're supposed to give it to you on your way out.
What is it?
A gift to remember me by.
I'm gonna be in the viewing room tomorrow night. You really think I'll forget you?
So long, Marcus. If there really is a hell, I'll light a candle for you. Either way, good luck with that promotion. And be sure to tell Beverly I said, Happy Anniversary!
Okay, then turn left onto Cedar and follow that for about 3 miles. Then turn right onto Deer Run. Oh, but be careful. There are so many twists and turns up here on these steep hills. After about 200 yards, the road forks and the path to the right leads up one last hill. Drive all the way to the top. We're the only house up there. We overlook the lake. Got it? Good. I'll see you soon. Orlando!
Hey, girl.
You found us.
You get perfect direction, sugar.
Well, you're the first one here. Even Marcus isn't home yet.
Wanted to get here early to see the new house. Bit off the beaten path, isn't it?
Well, we like the privacy and peace. At least I do.
Marcus doesn't?
Well, he doesn't hate it. He's just indifferent to the outdoors. But he likes what makes me happy.
Don't you ever get scared out here? Bears, wild things, fugitives from chain gangs, deliverance?
If we get in a jam, I still have my dad's gun upstairs.
That old shooter pistol that we used to shoot off in the quarry on spring break?
It still works.
Sure, make the bear mad.
I thought you were bringing a date out, the guy you've been seeing.
Jeremy, he had to work last minute. Wow. Is this place big enough? Cathedral-style ceilings? You could play some serious basketball in here. Oh, look at that fireplace. What's behind the curtain?
You just have to wait till everybody gets here. It's kind of a surprise.
Well, I have just the surprise for the fireplace.
Wine can go there.
No, this is a Pinot Grigio to kill for when you and Marcus will get cozy next to this fire.
Well, it doesn't have to be that fireplace. There's another one upstairs in the master bedroom.
Aren't we the landed gentry? Oh, and beautiful French doors overlooking the lake. This place is fantastic.
I love having my coffee out there in the morning.
That's got to be the perfect spot to write. Please tell me you work out there.
Maybe if I get a laptop. But for now, my computer is in one corner of our bedroom.
I know old habits die hard, Beverly, but you're not the struggling writer, married to the struggling professor anymore. You two have made it. Marcus is getting ready to get tenure.
It's not a sure thing yet. He's still an associate professor.
With all of the work he's done on multiple murders.
Some of the older profs think he's more hotshot than scholar.
They're just jealous of all the press he gets.
And there'll be even more if he and Derek nail that big National Science Foundation grant.
What's the grant for?
Oh, let me see how to say it. The research on the psychobiology of homicidal impulse.
That's a mouthful.
And with a truckload of NSF dollars attached to his name, the review committee will have no choice but to give Marcus tenure and a promotion.
Well, even if they don't, there's always private practice and With as many sickos as Marcus has interviewed, you know Annalise is dying to get him a book deal.
She's already mentioned it. No doubt tonight she'll corner him and dangle the New York Times bestseller list in front of him.
Speaking of bestseller lists, the new Danielle Castle's doing pretty well.
It's the modest seller list.
Modest enough to buy this amazing house with at least one room you can turn into an office.
I like writing in the bedroom. It keeps me grounded. Not that I've been producing much of anything lately. And anyway, we may have some other ideas for those extra bedrooms.
Are you trying to tell me you can't drink wine tonight?
No, I just might not be able to drink wine in a month or two. I think we're gonna try this year.
That's about time. What anniversary is this anyway?
7. You know, the one they tell you to worry about. Marcus is supposed to lose interest in me and start checking out when we're within.
Oh, honey, let me be the 7-year bitch. It doesn't suit you. Just be happy that you have a husband that worships the scuff marks on your shoes. You have the picture-perfect marriage.
I wouldn't say perfect, but pretty close. We're alike in so many ways that it wouldn't surprise me to see Marcus staring back at me from a mirror. We're both quiet and reflective.
Don't forget driven.
And driven. Each of us has always been fiercely independent. By the time we met, neither one of us had any family left. We're together because we choose to be. And now I think we're both ready to consider expansion.
The Michaud household, murder and fact and fiction. Across the hall from Deckers and bedtime stories. But I can't think of 2 better people to become parents.
Thank you.
The wine helps, and it's a boy who will once own more later.
Come on, silly. Let me show you the rest of the house.
Earl, you remember Virginia Woolf's argument? Hey, wow, who says you can't stay in shape in the off-season?
Hey there, Earl. How are you?
Not as good as you, Dr. Philgood. Perfect wife, perfect career, perfect hilltop house in the woods. Speaking of, Mrs. Philgood was just getting ready to give me the grand tour.
Oh, want to come see me?
Oh, no. You two go ahead. I have to get a drink.
You hear that, Bev? You sucked the juice right out of him.
Oh, hush.
Left him gasping for Gatorade. You're a lucky man, Marcus.
Come on, Earl.
7 years now. Seems more like 7 days to me.
I thought I told you to hush.
Hello? Ken? I didn't expect to hear from you on a Saturday night. No, it's okay. We have some people coming over, but I've got a minute or two. What's up? Oh, hang on. Let me get a pen. Okay. Preliminary stats inconsistent. Proposed database may be flawed. Huh. Well, Derek's coming over tonight. I'll pull him aside and then we can take a look at everything over the next week. Really? But I thought the review panel wasn't meeting until... Okay, alright. Tuesday then. No, of course I'll keep this call under the radar. I really appreciate the chance you're taking. Thank you. Thank you so much. Damn!
Well, if it isn't most wanted, USA's favorite handsome shrink.
My Annalise.
You know, you could be happier to see me. I am the one that makes sure your wife's royalty checks go out on time.
Sorry, I'm just, tired after an all-day meeting.
On Saturday? I thought being a professor beat working for a living.
Not when you're up for tenure.
What a magnificent room.
And competing costuming for one of the biggest grants in university history.
Oh, I love these French doors.
You know, it's ironic that a psychology professor should feel like a rat racing through a maze designed by an undergraduate.
Maybe it's time you gave up rat races. What do you got hiding behind this curtain?
Sort of housewarming gift. You'll see it later. So, I should drop the academic rat maze for a publishing rat maze, eh?
True crime is big, Dr. Michelle. Especially when the author gets up close and personal with the killer. And Wolf.
I know. She worked alongside Ted Bundy at a suicide prevention hotline.
The Stranger Beside Me was a big bestseller.
Well, books, especially bestsellers, don't count in academia. What does is peer-reviewed articles in the right journals.
Journals that nobody reads. Look, you got what it takes to be a best-selling author. You're smart. You write crisp, clean prose. Your credentials prove you know a thing or two about evil. And you are good-looking enough to know all the right parts on all the right talk shows. So good-looking, in fact, that if you were married to one of my favorite authors, I would lock you up in my bedroom closet, and I would only let you out on a chain 3 to 4 nights a week.
Panties.
Think about it, Marcus. Not just one book, but a series about the most infamous murderers of our time. You can start with the ones you interviewed, like Creel, the one they described.
I was there for that, you know.
And then you can move backward in time, profiling history's classic monsters.
It's all been done before.
And it'll be done again. I don't see why you and my publishing house can't profit from the kind of people you study.
I don't study them for profit. I do it so we can prevent others from following in their bloody footsteps.
Such a showy line. With me as your editor, you won't have missteps like that.
Annalise!
I thought I heard my favorite nitpicking editor out here.
Good to see you, Belle.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come.
A token of my appreciation. And for you, my fine, fickle fairy, this nitpicking editor has helped you make Skip Denridge the best-selling gay detective in history. Show some respect.
I love you too, Elise.
Good. Beverly, you and that delicious husband of yours have got your hands on this wonderful house. Even if it is in the middle of nowhere. It's got the right kind of creativity the writer needs to keep her creative juices flowing.
Oh, you should see the upstairs. With a sunken tub in the master bath and a fireplace in the bedroom, creative juices won't be the only thing bubbling over.
Orlando games!
Oh, have your fun and be proud of it, Bev. I had a man like Marcus. I would send him to work every day living. But when he's gone, right. Danielle Castle has bodies to find, lives to save.
Oh, Annalise, you shouldn't have.
Oh, yes, I damn well should. You owe me a book in a month.
Yes.
How's it coming?
It's coming.
Good. I wanted to make it possible that you could work anytime, anywhere. When you described this place to me, I knew I had to come and unchain you from your bedroom and your unpacking and send you down to the lake to write or off into the woods. Figured a change of scene, you would get that book to me before the deadline.
It's beautiful.
And I knew you wouldn't buy one for yourself. You're so thrifty.
You know, you never bought me a laptop.
Do you need one to hang from your Christmas tree? You're such a tech rat, oh. You've got more computers in your apartment than Bill Gates. Also, this is a gift for the household with 2 writers who could be working at the same time.
I like to finish most of my computer work at the office. After that long commute, the only screen I feel like facing is the TV in the family room.
Don't be difficult, Marcus. Write the damn book already.
Tell you what, if things don't go the way I want them to on campus, I will give your book idea serious consideration.
Oh, there's hope after all. So, someone gonna show me around the rest of this grand manor? I can't wait to see the love nest.
Orlando, would you show me Annalise the house? I need to speak to Marcus a minute.
Sure. Then we can talk about what you're gonna get me besides a laptop. Fair's fair, after all.
Ah, you're such a child.
Oh, but you're so sad you gave me it for adoption now.
What is it, honey?
What's what?
Something's bothering you. I can tell.
You know me too well.
It better to help you. Now, what is it?
Ken Schaefer's from the NSF called a few minutes ago. There's something wrong with our data. With Derek sending things.
Serious?
Probably not, but anything that doesn't add up could sink the whole proposal. I'm sure it's something simple that Derek can fix in a few minutes.
So you're not worried?
You do know me too well. I'll feel a lot better when Derek gets here and I can pull him aside for a few minutes.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Derek knows what he's doing. But I know you. You'll worry all weekend until everything is perfect.
If something goes wrong, it can be low tenure and a full professorship.
Nothing will go wrong. And I'll just have to distract you this weekend so Derek can do his job. Starting tonight, when everybody leaves.
I would also take an iPod.
Well, I don't think so.
They're at it again! Annalise, I'm gonna need to borrow your pepper spray.
Are you kidding? That's the only thing I have to make my lips tingle.
I thought you were on the grand tour.
Well, we saw a car coming up that very long driveway from the window upstairs.
Oh, that must be Tara and Derek. And the new people.
The new people?
Tara's new colleague from the hospital. He and his wife just moved here from Seattle. Apparently, she's a big Danielle Castle fan.
Ooh.
So I told her she could bring them along. I hope you don't mind.
Of course not. Tara!
Derek!
Hello,
Oh, it feels like forever since I've seen you two.
I don't get out of the hospital nearly as much as I'd like.
I see Marcus almost every day. But since you moved so far out of the city, he can't surprise you by bringing home for lunch like you used to.
Oh, and you remember my friend Orlando?
I read one of your books. I enjoyed it.
Quirky eye for the straight guy, that's me. Oh, love your hair.
Thank you. Nice of you to notice.
Oh, and this is my editor, our editor, Annalise Kyle.
Oh, and these are our friends, Will and Carol Summers.
Pleasure to be mine.
It's you, Beverly Hatcher. I can't believe it. It really is you. I've read all your books. I love Danielle Castle. I got to be your biggest fan. You don't see this many stars on your back.
Marcus said that LED lights he placed along the path go right down to the lake. It's supposed to be spectacular.
I could use the walk. I had forgotten how good a cook Beverly was.
She's a country girl at heart.
As in, who'll fix what ails you?
When we were in college and I was sad or just got beaten up or depressed by one of my father's latest attack letters, she would always take me out to eat. And when we lived together senior year, anytime I was down, she cooked for me.
You really love her, don't you?
Always will. If you're going to ask if I ever thought about going straight just for her, the answer is yes.
Did you ever tell her or try?
No. I'm a realist. I am what I am. And I would have hurt her in a way I couldn't have lived with. I guess I'm pretty protective when it comes to Beverly.
So is this why you chose to settle
So close in this town?
I don't know. Maybe.
I thought you'd be happier in New York.
Every New Yorker thinks that people would be happier in New York.
That's because there is so much to do.
So much to do, I would never get any work done. Sometimes I need silence to think. Plus, this place isn't so bad. It's got museums and theaters and a fantastic writers network. And a great university surrounded by 3 prestigious colleges.
I must admit, it is peaceful right here.
Plus, if I were in Manhattan, I never would have met Jeremy.
That is the 3rd time you have mentioned his name. Oh, you sound like a man in love.
Perhaps.
Tell me about him.
Well, he's 2 years younger than me, and he has this amazing dancer's body. I mean, you'd never be able to tell he was a lawyer. And when he smiles...
And then she said, "Oh, but honey, this one's eating my popcorn."
Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at the stars. So romantic.
Poor Beverly. Your wife was on her like a flea on a dog.
She's more like a tick. Once she attaches herself to a hook, she doesn't let go. She wants to be a writer, so she'll suck all the information she can out of that friend of yours. When the night's over, she'll corner that editor too. Tell her she has an idea for a book.
I'm sure neither one has heard that one before.
Well, your husband's a nice guy. To shoo everyone out like that so he can help everyone clean up.
Oh, don't mistake it for nice. It was his excuse to be alone with Marcus to discuss their NSF grant proposal.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of hearing about that.
And I won't ask about what it's for.
Well, not here, but if somebody sees us.
So sick of nooners in cheap hotel rooms, rendezvous on the 3rd floor medical supply closet. It's so General Hospital.
Don't go getting emotional on me.
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
It's been 3 weeks. Don't start talking about loving me and leaving Carol and the kids and wanting me to leave Derek. It's such a cliche.
You don't even respect him. You said so yourself. You went into biology and genetics because you couldn't hack med school.
Let's just enjoy this for what it is, however long it is.
I don't know, Elise. Maybe it was a snake. This is the woods, after all.
I don't like snakes.
It's not like it's gonna jump up and kiss
They're
you.
disgusting.
Oh, I'm probably more afraid of you than you are.
A lovely night.
A bit chilly though. I'm feeling rather flushed myself.
She may have seen a snake.
Oh, it was in the path and then it moved.
Probably just a garter snake, just trying to get out of the way.
It was big.
Annalise, according to popular belief, aren't you supposed to be the tough as nails New Yorker, and I'm supposed to be the one that freaked out by the creepy crawly things?
Can we just go in, please?
Yes.
Shall we?
Your writing is smoother and more polished than
what you'd expect from a housewife with nothing but an Underwood portable?
No, I was going to say it's more polished than the manuscripts that hopeful authors usually ask me to read.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a bother.
7 Chambers Affair. I can't promise if it'll go anywhere, Carol, but I will read it as soon as I get the chance and get back to you with some suggestions.
You won't tell anyone, will you? I'm kind of shy. My husband will think I've been neglecting the children if I took the time to write a book. I had to sneak it here in my purse.
I won't be the one to tell them.
Thank you.
You do have another copy, don't you?
Maybe a few notes in longhand, but I threw out most of the rough stuff when I finished. We've got to be the only family in the county without a computer, but Will's medical school debt is so great.
Writing lesson number 1. Always have backup copies. I'll keep this in a safe place tonight, and tomorrow I'll scan it into my hard drive and make a backup on disk.
Miss Hatcher, I am so grateful.
last time, Carol. Call me Beverly.
Geez, Marcus, I said I'd review the numbers.
Tuesday, Derek.
I said I'd have it by Tuesday.
No, they need to have it by Tuesday. You've got to get it done by Monday.
So I have to spend Sunday crunching numbers and making projections?
You don't seem to be taking this seriously. Interdisciplinary research like this could be groundbreaking.
True, but if NSF doesn't fund it, somebody else will.
Derek! I need this, okay? You've already got tenure. You're already a full professor. I need this grant. This isn't like you. All the years I've known you, you've never been this careless with your work. What's wrong?
Nothing.
You can talk to me.
Don't shrink me, man. All right, I'll have everything by Monday night. We can fax it on Tuesday.
Thank you. Everybody's just in time.
Thanks to the snake.
There's coffee, cream, and sugar and cookies over there. Get some and grab a seat for the unveiling.
Now secretive.
Must be cold out. Bill's forever offering his jacket to somebody.
Thank you very much.
Well, now that everybody's comfortable, we'd like to thank you for coming tonight and making our anniversary party a genuine housewarming. We both fell in love with this house the instant that we saw it, but one of our biggest concerns was being so far away from all of our friends.
Imagine, 2 workaholic only children worried about being lonely.
Don't give up on your new neighbors just yet. I met one outside, although I didn't catch his name because he was too busy slithering away on his belly.
What we're trying to say is we're grateful that you're here. And we want you all to be the first to see our new painting.
So that's what's back there.
What do you think it was? Gateway to another dimension?
Curtains protects the painting from the sunlight that streams in through those French doors in the afternoon.
French doors, dredge fours. The only reason there's a curtain up there is because you two can't help making everything a mystery. So turn to the last page, Art.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. It's magnificent.
It matches your walls beautifully.
I always said you were the picture-perfect couple.
It must have cost a small fortune, Beverly. Who's the artist?
Yes. Who? I want to commission him or her for a painting for my office.
I'm afraid that's impossible. This was the last thing he painted before he died.
Oh, how sad.
Not as sad as you might think.
Well, who was he?
Gunther Creel.
Not the Bill.
The same.
God, Marcus, Bill.
Who's Gunther Creel?
Some time ago, I suggested to the warden that if Creel were allowed to paint in his cell, it might help keep him calm.
You and Beverly never fail to surprise me.
Who's Gunther Creel?
Only one of the worst serial killers in history. Don't you read the papers or watch TV?
News depresses me. I avoid things that depress me. He must have been very handsome. I understood women just melted when they were around him.
Didn't he swing both ways? Wasn't at least one of his victims male?
2, and he seduced them both.
Put him to death recently, honey.
Those poor girls were lambs to the slaughter.
I was present at the execution.
I'd rather not rehash the horrors of his life, or his death.
When did you post for this?
We didn't.
I never even met the man.
Well, it seems he's met you. I mean, look at this detail here. It's almost photographic.
Somehow with all of you in the room, it looks different.
If things didn't pose, it's safe to assume you didn't have a commission. So why did you paint it?
He was an egocentric control freak. He wanted me to remember him always.
Remarkable, yes. Inexplicable, no. He probably used a photo for reference. A dust jacket from one of your books or the publisher's website.
years, it'll be worth a small fortune.
I wonder if we managed to match the colors in your house so perfectly.
Marcus, do you know where we can get more of his paintings?
Some, I suspect, are still in evidence lockers. Some of his early stuff's in a dozen or so reputable galleries, if the curators haven't taken it down yet because of the trial. Why?
The book. We could use a picture insert and devote it to his art. And then we can arrange them to show the degeneration of his mind or the escalation of his violence. Well, you're the shrink. What do his paintings say to you?
That he was uniquely gifted as an artist. It wasn't on the page where he portrayed his true madness.
I think we better get going, honey.
Careful, Marcus. You're scaring the newbie.
No, you can't go yet. Came in our car, remember?
This talk is making my wife uncomfortable.
Carol's upset.
I'm fine, honey.
But
I'm fine.
Carol, you must think that we're terrible people for going on like this about a monster like Creel. But the truth is, well, I write fiction about smooth, clever murderers. Marcus introduced the real thing. Gritty and remorseless men that are terrifying and insane. It's all a part of his job as a psychologist.
He's going to write a book about it.
Maybe. Mrs. Summers, Carol, has Derek told you anything about our work?
Just that he's some sort of biology professor.
He's more than that. Derek specializes in genetics. Together, we are undertaking an unprecedented research project to look into the psychobiology of evil.
I don't understand.
The impulse to do evil is a normal part of human nature. How many of us have heard that voice in our head that tells us to steal or cheat or kill? Most of us suppress that voice, those urges.
Because of a stronger voice called conscience. Morality.
Yes, most of us resist that voice, but give in to the occasional lie or income tax evasion or even shoplift a candy bar. Some ratchet things up a few clicks to infidelity or embezzlement. But a few of us embrace the truly forbidden, like murder. As if our capacity for evil is switched on like the lights in this room.
The Genome Project was the best thing that came out of the Reagan presidency. We're finding all kinds of markers and switches, if you will, for such things such as traits and diseases that will help us find out letter language, social behavior, and sexual orientation.
Don't look at me.
Through a combination of investigative research and hard laboratory science, Derek and I are trying to find that switch.
The on-off switch.
Yes.
You intend to turn evil off? Is that it?
Yes.
And you intend to cure poverty with a greed that causes it?
No.
When I'm taking a 9mm bullet out of a teenage drug dealer's chest on a Saturday night, I know the switch that put in there was the fact that this kid couldn't get a job because some fat cat who had to go to church in a few hours moved all of his jobs overseas to take advantage of poor people who only work for pennies. Can you do something about that? Huh?
No, there's no...
I'm sorry, I just...
That's all right, Will. You're frustrated with the status quo. I understand. I'm frustrated too. I don't for 1 minute believe that we can end all manifestations of evil. Any more than I think that medicine will eradicate all cancers or retroviruses.
Evil isn't a retrovirus. If it were, our species would have been wiped out long ago.
Funny, but just now I remember Creel said evil is like a virus, that it changes you in ways you never thought possible.
Look, I know that in this room I'm probably the least qualified to speak.
Nonsense, Carol.
I mean, I'm here with 2 doctors, 2 professors, 2 writers, and a book editor. All I am is a high school graduate, a housewife and mother.
And a one-time secretary who put her husband through college and medical school.
I mean, I don't have your education and training, and what I'm about to say might sound foolish, but I have to ask, what if evil doesn't want to be switched off?
It may seem glamorous to those who don't actually have to do it, but writing is a terrible way to make a living. When they find out I'm an author, some people smile and say, "I'd like to write a book." What they mean is, I'd like to have written a book. Meaning they'd like to do book signings and give interviews and earn royalties without having to actually park their derriere in a chair and write. You see, writing is hard work. That's why most people can't do it for very long. Some mornings, your head is so full of ideas and phrases, swirling around in a pre-dawn mental stew, that you just can't wait to jump out of bed and get to work. Other days, sit for hours, staring at an empty monitor or a blank sheet of paper, just waiting for words that never come. After a few days of playing hide-and-go-seek with the muse, you begin to feel naked yourself. You wonder if you've reached the end, if you've finally exhausted your gift, if you ever even had a gift. That Carol Summers woman, she doesn't know any of this yet. She started a novel and she followed it through to the end. And the 7 Chambers affair is remarkable. For someone so underprepared. She doesn't have to wonder what she's going to do for an encore. But I do. What am I going to do?
Sometimes you just get tired of following the rules. Sure, the rules are there for a reason, to maintain order and avoid chaos. But sometimes they bite into your skin like handcuffs, 3 clicks too tight. Maybe that's how I was feeling after so many hours reworking the grant with Derek. It was night when we finally finished, and I still had a long drive home. Guess I just needed to cut loose. My foot got a little heavy, and the needle swung to a place I had never seen before. And the speed, oh, it felt really good. Until I saw the flashing lights in my mirror. I was about halfway home then. Now, I should have pulled over, I should have taken the ticket, I should have followed the rules. But if I had, there'd be no story to tell. For reasons I still can't figure out, I decided to run. I remember thinking to myself, if I can outrun this cop, I can do anything. So, I cut the lights to hide my plate, put my foot to the floor, and crossed 3 lanes of traffic to hit the first exit. I had no idea where I was, but I turned right and whipped into the first driveway I came to. It was an old farmhouse with a dirt drive curving around back. I parked behind the house, cut my engine, and stretched across the front seats. And I stayed there for a while, waiting for a tap on the window and a flashlight to the face. Nobody came. Not the cop, not the farmer, nobody. When I finally started the engine and got back on the highway, I knew I could do anything.
I know, Annalise, I know. Just one more week. 2 at most, and then I'll have a finished draft for you. Well, I'm trying something different. No, I'm not tampering with the formula. It's a Danielle Hassel mystery, all right? I'm just moving her in a slightly different direction, that's all. The title? Tentatively, The 7 Chambers Affair, but I think it's weak and I want to change it. You like it? All right. Well, you better let me get back to work. Okay, bye, sweetie. Yes? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Orlando. I've just been trying to work and this phone won't stop ringing. Well, I have to leave it on so Marcus can get a hold of me. Today's the grants qualifying round. What's the matter, Earl? Do I remember it? I've just been waiting weeks for you to bring him around and meet us. What? Another man? Are you sure? Oh, guess you are sure then. Honey, I'm so sorry. How are you? That's to be expected. Sure, but does it really matter who he is? I know. Just remember, you're a detective writer and not a detective. Okay, and I'll try to remember that I'm a shrink's wife and not a shrink. Although I'm sure Marcus would tell you the same thing. No, I can't this weekend. Of course Annalise is riding me. Who else digs their spurs in like that? What about next weekend? Saturday? All right then. Dinner, just the 3 of us. And I'll whip up one of your favorite dishes and you can tell us everything. You can even stay over if you want. Drink all the wine you like. You'll be okay until then? Good. What? No! Not you. The doorbell. I gotta run out. I'll see you next Saturday? Of course I will talk to you before then. Love you.
here?
It's a few minutes past 2 on Thursday. Derek, he's on campus, working where you're supposed to be.
He's not there.
What?
He canceled his class at the tutorial and left hours ago. I thought he might have come home.
Why would he leave? Oh, the grant.
Disqualified in the first round.
I'm so sorry. I know how hard you worked on that, both of you.
It's my fault.
I'm sure the competition was stiff. Hundreds of applications from all over the country.
No, it's my fault.
Well, Marcus isn't here. You should have called instead of spending an hour on the road.
I thought he'd hang up on me. I need to see him.
Have you tried his cell phone?
It's off.
I wonder why he wouldn't call me. Well,
Do you
I
mind,
don't know.
do you mind if I sit?
Of course not.
You're working and I'm interfering. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm not one of those Philistines who think that if you work from home, you're really not working.
I know.
I just...
Oh, Derek. Derek, what's wrong? Marcus, I'm so sorry about the grant. Why didn't you call me? It's not like you not to call. I would have come to you, met you for a drink or to talk.
But you have your book to finish. Can't have you leaving your work because I can't do mine.
Yes, my work, but that can wait. I know how much that grant meant to you. I need help.
I'm sorry, Marcus.
I don't need help. It was a grant, not the end of the world.
What about your tenure and promotion?
Maybe it's time I turn my attention from the crap that I've been doing.
What? Your work means so much to you. It's creepy as hell, but you love it.
Well, Annalise has been on me to write a book. Maybe I'll take her up on it. I do know a thing or two about each.
I'm really sorry.
Beverly, can you leave me alone with Derek for a few minutes? Oh, there's no need to take your work. This will only take a minute, and after Derek leaves, I'm going upstairs to take a nap. You can pick up where you left off right here. Leave it.
Well, all right then. But if you need me,
Look, Marcus. You must hate me right now.
I don't hate you, Derek.
But the grant thing is all my fault.
Oh, I know that. But I don't hate you. I know exactly why you screwed up the grant, even after we were doing work.
You do?
Of course I do. You messed it up because you couldn't think straight. The Seven Chambers Affair by... Oh my Beverly. It must be eating you alive. I pity you, Derek.
How long do you know?
I think I knew the instant I saw them together.
I wouldn't hate her so. I wouldn't feel so bad. I didn't love her so much.
But you do love her. And she's making a fool of you. She's making a fool of you with that high-minded Dr. Summers, who had the nerve to question our work.
Yes.
Who made such a big show of protecting his idiot wife while sleeping with yours. So this man, this one man, has ruined your marriage, devastated your concentration, and undermined both our careers.
Yes.
And the wife who you trusted and loved is his accomplice.
Yes, she is.
Question is, what are you going to do about it?
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Are you going to let them get away with it?
What can I do? We have no children. Divorce would be easier.
It's a no-fault state.
No fault.
The failure of the marriage is nobody's fault, and nobody gets punished. Someone has to pay for what you're going through, don't you think? What would you really like to do?
Like to get my hands on him, around his throat, and press my thumbs into his windpipe.
You'd leave fingerprints on the flesh.
What?
You'd leave fingerprints, body oils, DNA. There are ways of taking care of them without sacrificing yourself, without incriminating yourself.
What are you talking about?
Pride, revenge, justice, call it what you want. But you don't have to take this from them.
You're talking about murder.
In France, it wouldn't be murder. The crime of passion, le crime passionnel, is a bona fide legal defense for situations just like this.
But we're not in France.
Oh, more reason not to get caught.
I've gone through your talks where the audience tries to come up with the perfect murder. You always tell them how to get caught. Besides, I'm the husband, the first one they look at.
They only investigate if they think there's been a murder. If they think these two lovers ran away together.
Marcus, this is crazy.
Maybe it is. But do you see them together when you close your eyes at night? Can you sleep beside her without wondering where his hands have touched her? Without hearing her moan in his ear? Well, if you can, you're a better man than I am.
I don't think I'd get away with something like this.
You could if you had help.
What do you mean?
If you had help. Someone who knew investigation procedures, forensics, how to dispose of a body without leaving a trace. A homicide detective, a criminalist. A shrink who spent more than 1,000 hours interviewing murderers and the detectives who catch them.
Catch is the operative word here.
If the average murderer knew half of what went on in a homicide investigation, society would be at his mercy. But the average murderer isn't especially smart. We are.
You do this for me.
My friend, we have just entered into a conspiracy. Even if we never carry out the act, my silence guarantees your silence, guarantees my silence.
And they can be dealt with without any indication of crime has been committed?
Yes.
And made to disappear permanently?
Yes. Trust me, Gary. It can be done.
How deep is that lake?
Campus security? Oh, thank goodness. I didn't think anyone would be there on a Sunday morning. This is Dr. Michaud from psychology. I just received the strangest calls from one of my colleagues in biosciences. Well, he wants me to come over, but I thought it best to report the call. I would have dialed 911, but I live an hour away in another town. I figured you'd know the right police department to call. Well, I can't be sure, but if what he tells me is true, this is a police matter. Dr. Derek Palmer, 437 Campbell Terrace. About 2 miles from campus. Well, he claims to have killed his wife and her lover. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I almost stayed back there in my cell. Then I began to wonder why you bothered to come visit me.
I wanted to see how you were doing.
You see how your puppet was holding up with the strings cut.
You sound hostile right now. I understand. A place like this.
Hostile doesn't begin to describe what I'm feeling.
If you're angry because I called the police.
Because you called the police?
I'm sorry, but I had no choice after you told me what you've done.
You're a piece of work, Marcus. You really are.
What do you mean?
And a hell of an actor. I don't think anyone's listening, but I don't know for sure. So why don't you just stick to the innocent visitor routine? That way no one will suspect how you set me up.
Set you up?
Don't even want to ask you at this rate.
Derek, I'm your friend. I want to help you any way I can.
My friend? Friends don't push friends into murder and then leave them standing over the body.
You're right. And friends don't drag other friends into murder. Why didn't you call me so I could talk you out of it?
Because you're the one who talked me into it!
I did no such thing. What?
What about that day I came out to your house?
The day that you were so distraught about your wife's affair that you drove off in a rage when I suggested divorce?
I don't believe this.
Think, Derek. How could I have convinced you, a tenured, full professor, into something like murder? How did I influence you? Did I blackmail you? Promise you money? Seduce you?
You told me you helped me dispose of the bodies.
I did no such thing.
But the lake by your house.
The lake full of fall fishermen and summer swimmers? Gas makes bodies rise.
You said we'd break them down.
The lake is too shallow. Snorkelers would see them.
You said we could dispose of them.
Derek, you've been to my lectures. You know how bothersome bodies can be. Animals dig up forest graves. The smell of decomposition seeps through floors and walls. Any acid strong enough to dissolve bone would also dissolve its own container.
What about the forensics you said you can get around?
All they found of Crippen's wife was a patch of stomach skin with a recognizable scar. The jury passed it around on a plate. Crippen was hanged. That was 1910. Forensic science has come a long way since then, don't you think?
But
There are no buts. Are you planning on going into court with your PhD and telling them that you were talked into murder by someone who had nothing to gain? No motive for wanting the victim's death? A man who lived an hour away?
When I called, you said to stay put.
The same man who phoned police?
And establish a phone record alibi at the time of the crime.
Derek, I want to help you. Truly, I do.
You won't get away with this.
Look, to base a defense on suggestibility, you would have to demonstrate the weakest will in history, or you'd have to be insane.
You won't get away with this.
Are you insane, Derek? I haven't done anything to get away with. You, on the other hand.
You told me this is great for you.
I really, really want to help.
Talk to my lawyer, please.
But I can't implicate myself in a felony.
Please, Marcus, don't do this to me.
Conspiracy to commit murder, perjury, obstruction of justice. I'd have to be insane.
I didn't do anything. It was not my fault.
You know what you did, Derek. You know the pain you've caused yourself.
I'm so scared, Marcus.
Face up to what you've done, and you'll know what you have to do to end the pain.
I'm so scared.
You know what you have to do.
The water for tea will be ready in a few minutes.
I was on my way to the cemetery, but I missed the turn, and I just kept driving until I got here. I didn't know where else to go.
Well, you're always welcome, Carol, but you should call first.
I went to see him the day after the funeral. There are so many rocks on top of him.
Grass takes time to grow.
He's going to be so cold.
Oh, honey.
I was on my way to see him again today to talk to him, but I just kept driving.
Why don't you have a seat, Carol, so we can talk?
The lake is beautiful.
It's the time of day. The lake hits it just right in the afternoon.
It reminds me of when we were first married. We honeymooned in a cabin on a lake just like this one, except it was in the North Country, in Washington State.
I've never been, but I heard it's beautiful there.
We stayed for 2 whole weeks, swimming every day, even when the water was cold.
It must have been nice.
Fishing and cooking our catch over an open fire, lying on a blanket and counting the stars.
Sounds so romantic, Carol.
We made love so much it hurt to walk. We were happy then.
Well, everyone should be happy on their honeymoon. It's the least life can
He
do for you.
loved me then for 2 whole weeks.
I'm sure he still loved you, even if he...
I wish we had stayed in Seattle. I was happy in Seattle, but Will wasn't. He always wanted more. More money, more recognition, more important friends.
Some people are never satisfied.
He wanted more woman than I could ever be.
It's not your fault.
I disappointed him so much.
It's not your fault, Carol.
He wanted someone thinner and prettier.
Sometimes men are pigs.
I wish we had stayed in Seattle.
For your sake, I wish you had.
I had family in Seattle, and friends.
Maybe you could move back there.
There was nothing evil there.
Evil.
We were touched by evil here.
Touched by evil.
I don't have friends here, just people from the hospital.
Let's go back to the evil. What did you mean?
But they're all Will's friends. I thought Tara would be my friend, but all she wanted was my husband. Glad she's dead. I hope the rocks are heavy enough to keep her that way.
Carol, did the doctor give you something to take? Maybe pills?
I thought I might become friends with Beverly Hatcher, the writer.
Maybe we can be friends, Carol.
She's the great writer.
And maybe I can help you after you've had time to adjust to everything.
I wanted to be a writer once.
Your book needs work, but it shows promise.
Will never thought my writing was worth anything.
Well, what did he know?
Beverly Hatcher said my writing was smooth and polished.
And with my name and a few changes, maybe we can collaborate?
But Beverly is Tara's friend, and I don't know if I can trust her. What if Will wants to sleep with her, too? What if she wants to sleep with him?
bad, Beverly. Not at all. It's actually quite good. It's just different. I'm still trying to take it all in.
Well, even Danielle Castle needs a change of pace now and then.
Yeah, but this is really different. Like, Ian Fleming's The Spy Who Loved Me.
James Bond.
Fleming was trying to do something different, so he wrote a book about a woman's life. James Bond doesn't even come in until the last chapter to save her from a bunch of thugs. I'm just trying to see where all this is going. Put it together. Let's talk about something else.
How about Jeremy? Even if we had to put dinner off until now, he's still the main reason you're dining with us tonight.
Yeah, I want to wait for Marcus before we get into all that.
Marcus.
I need a straight man's perspective on something. Sorry.
Well, I guess you're his friend too.
I always thought so.
Well, there's no telling when he'll get here. Recently, he's been working late, a lot. But I hope he gets home soon. The radio said there'd be a heavy downpour and the winding dirt roads up here can get kind of slick.
Did you try self?
When I was in the kitchen, he's got it turned off again. I am so glad that you're staying over.
Me too. So, what's Marcus been up to lately?
Catching up, he says. This business with Derek really threw off his schedule.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that bit of drama. I mean, one night I'm talking to people in this room, and the next two are dead, and the third's in jail for their murder.
Oh, don't forget about Carol Summers. The poor thing had a nervous breakdown after her husband's funeral and had to be admitted.
You were trying to tell me about that the other night, but you cut it short when Marcus came in. What happened?
3 days ago, the police found her wandering around downtown, naked, at lunchtime.
During this time of year? Talk about popsicle toes.
The day before she came out here and she was so out of it, I thought she was medicated or drunk. When she left, I wasn't sure if she'd make it back down the hill. And then I realized it was something else.
Grief?
More. So much of her personality was defined by her husband that she was just kind of lost without him.
Just so sad.
And Marcus talked to Dr. Kent at the psychiatric center, and what's left of her identity is so fragile that recovery will likely take a very long time.
Well, did they have children?
Yes. Fortunately, she had family in Seattle that came and got them. Eventually, they'll move her out to a psych center out there. All these lives ruined because Derek flipped out.
Is he still trying to say that Marcus made him do it?
He claims he's being set up for losing the NSF grant.
That's an original revenge. Right over the top.
Ridiculous is what it is. Marcus isn't at all vindictive.
Even if he was, Derek's a free agent. I mean, he pulled the trigger, right? Or is he trying to say he was hypnotized?
According to Marcus, hypnosis can't make you do anything against your nature or moral code.
Okay, so then how did Marcus do it? Supposedly, did he pick up mind control tips when he was interviewing Charlie Manson?
The police questioned him 3 times. He spent an entire afternoon with Derek's lawyer. He never changed his story. Yes, he was mad about the grant, but Derek was his friend, and so was Tara.
True friends stab you in the front.
What's that supposed to mean?
A quote. Just popped in my head.
What's it got to do with Marcus?
You know me, the original drama queen. You were saying Tara was his friend too.
Yes, So why would Marcus urge Derek to kill her at all?
Probably because she was having an affair with that neo-hippie doctor.
How do you know? Did you catch them kissing?
No. The night Annalise and I were out there, they were so busy not kissing and not standing next to each other, the only logical conclusion was that they were having an affair.
You really are becoming cynical in your old age, aren't you?
It's an affectionate cynicism. Like Twain's, when he said, "Man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. These two needed to blush, and did."
Even if she was involved with Bill, that had nothing to do with Marcus.
And he never said anything like, "If she were my wife."
Absolutely not.
How do you know?
Because I know my husband.
Of course you do.
I do. And he hated Manson. He called him a dangerous little creep with bad breath and body odor.
Well, what did he think about Dr. Creel?
He hasn't said anything about that one, actually. Why do you ask?
Curiosity.
It's a strange curiosity that tries to connect a love triangle murder to people like Manson and Creel.
Tell me, what would you do if Marcus was having an affair?
Okay, now it sounds like you're fishing for a story idea.
Maybe.
You know it's all been done before.
Yeah, but so has everything. But you've got to admit, jealousy is still a good motive, and murder by remote control is a clever plot device.
That's been done too. Remember the Manchurian Candidate?
Yes, the book and both films, but you still haven't answered my question.
Because it's a ridiculous question.
No, it's not. It's a question I had to ask about the man who I thought was the love of my life, and what Derek had to ask about his wife, and probably why he murdered her.
That has nothing to do with Marcus and me.
No.
You said it yourself. We had the picture-perfect marriage.
So I think. Hypothetically, then, what would you do?
I guess I would want to know what she has that I don't.
You're cheating, Beth. I didn't ask you how you would feel or what you would want to know. I asked you what you would do.
Well, I wouldn't kill him if that's what you're pushing me to say.
Would you divorce him?
Never.
Would you confront him?
Maybe, I don't know.
Would you confront her?
I don't know.
Why not? She's stealing smiles and kisses and pleasures that rightfully belong to you.
Stop. Just stop it.
Beth.
Don't. I don't know what's gotten into you.
Maybe I got a little carried away.
Carried away? That was downright mean.
I'm sorry.
Why are you being so cruel all of a sudden? The thought of Marcus with someone else makes his skin crawl.
Is there any reason for you to believe that Marcus is having an affair?
No!
Beth, you know I love you.
I think I just sent the jury back out.
Everything I said because I love you.
If bullying is how you show your love, then it's no wonder, Jeremy, don't you?
I guess I had that coming.
You did.
Look, I don't want to
I
hurt
think you should go now.
Beth!
No, I mean I don't. I want you to leave now. But we still have a chance of saving this friendship.
What about the storm?
If you leave now, you can make it to the main highway before the rain comes. And for the record, I would do everything in my power to get him back.
All right. I'll go on one condition.
What condition?
You tell me you really wrote this book.
What?
You heard me.
I wrote it.
I tells Beth. Interrogation 101. The eyes won't lie when the mouth will. Now look at me.
I wrote it.
Wrote part of it. You reworked it and you plugged Danielle Castle into it, but this isn't your work.
How do you know?
We've talked about this before. Writers have a unique style, subconscious DNA that longtime readers can detect. It's what separates Toni Morrison from Joyce Carol Oates,
Agatha Christie from Dorothy Sayers.
James Baldwin from Walter Mosley.
Do you think Annalise will notice?
Annalise is on a production schedule. She won't care. Just tell me who wrote it.
Earl Summers.
Mousy little widow?
Yes.
When did you get this? You couldn't have reworked it all in 4 days.
She gave it to me the night of the party.
Let me guess. She asked you for your opinion, and you ended up stealing her book. How convenient of her to lose her husband and then have a nervous breakdown. Hi, Beverly.
I don't know.
Of course you do. Annalise was turning the thumb screws. Little did she know that your brain was on lockdown. And this wimpy little wife shows up on your doorstep with the answers to all your problems.
I was going to find a way to give her credit.
Beverly Hatcher with Carol Summers?
Something like that?
You didn't say that all the time, Paige. Were you planning to con her with money and promised to get her next book published?
Don't know.
Beverly Hatcher I know and love would never stoop to literary death unless she succumbed to some outside influence.
What kind of influence?
That is not the same painting from the party. Not the same picture, but clearly done by the same hand, even though the artist is dead. What do you make of that?
What do you make of it?
Gunther Creel paint Marcus a second picture?
No,
How do you know?
because I watched Marcus unwrap it when he brought it home. There's only one painting.
Maybe he left it in his car or in his office.
No,
Something to play a trick on you later.
no,
How can you be so sure?
because he couldn't hide that many paintings from me.
There's more?
No, there's only one painting. And I know because I've asked myself these same questions 1,000 times. But the signature in the corner, it's exactly the same. And the scratch on the canvas, it never changes. But the man and the woman, Marcus and me, we keep changing. Every day we're in a different position. Every day. And Marcus can't just be doing that to drive me mad like the husband in Gaslight. Because we change even when he's not here.
Have you ever watched it change?
I tried to one afternoon, but after staring at it for an hour, I felt like my brain was drowning in its own fluid. I stepped outside for a minute to clear my head, and when I came back, the painting had changed.
What does Marcus say about all of this?
He doesn't see a difference. He tells me that nothing's changed and leaves me to wonder if I'm going mad.
But you're not sure because I see it too.
So what do you make of it?
The rationalist in me knows that the dead don't paint from the grave, but the writer in me, the imaginer of mysteries and macabre reality tells, sees another possibility.
What?
Do you believe in evil?
Not you two. Carol Summers said something about evil being here.
Interesting. The way that confirms my theory. Do you remember the portrait of Dorian Gray? Oscar Wilde has been on my mind lately. It's probably why I quoted him earlier, but no matter how immoral, corrupt, or homicidal Dorian Gray becomes, he never ages or shows signs of disease. The portrait does, until one day the portrait looks nothing like the man.
How does it end?
Dorian attacks the portrait with the same knife that he murdered someone with. When the servants find him, the picture's perfect, but the body's a shriveled husk on the ground wearing Gray's rings.
So you think that we have the picture of Dorian Gray on our hands?
No. The picture of Dr. Creel.
Why does that somehow seem worse?
Dorian Gray used his portrait as a repository, somewhere to store evil so it wouldn't manifest itself in his body. But Dr. Creel's already dead. Maybe he's using it as a conduit, somewhere to channel his evil when it's leaking out.
So it's influencing me.
Infecting. I think Marcus said Creel mentioned that evil was like a virus.
And that's why I stole Carol's book.
It's infecting Marcus, too.
How? He's hardly even here anymore.
He knew Creel. He hung that portrait and he hasn't been himself lately, has he?
Well, he hasn't been spending more time in the woods. No, this is silly.
No, it's not. Everything's finally starting to make sense.
I don't understand.
You, Marcus, how different you've both become. I mean, Beverly, we've known each other for a really long time. You know I would never do anything to hurt you.
I know.
What I'm about to say, it's not easy.
Just say it, Earl.
I did play detective. I found the other man.
What other man?
Jeremy's other man. He's Marcus. Your husband's sleeping with my boyfriend.
Well, looks like I got here just in time. Easy, Bev. Your head must be pounding. You were out nearly 3 hours. I was beginning to worry about you. Now don't get yourself excited, honey.
You're gonna kill me too?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I made you some hot chocolate.
I don't want anything from you.
Sorry about the dry mouth. It's a side effect of the pill I made you take. So's the headache, I'm afraid.
You made me take a pill?
Had to hold you down and clamp your mouth shut. Oh, there'll be some nausea too. You'll probably have to throw up in a few minutes. Oh, I had to change your things. You sort of lost control when you went under. I had to wash your clothes.
What?
Don't be embarrassed. They'll be dry in a little while.
What kind of drug did you give me?
Something that disabled you while I took care of things.
What did you do to Orlando?
What I had to do to ensure both of our futures. Before you try something silly, you should know there's nothing you can do tonight. I've disabled all of the phones, and I have the keys to all of the cars. In the morning, I'll drive Orlando's down to the highway and roll it into the river. He left during the storm, you see, and lost control, and his body was swept away, never to be found.
I know the truth.
But it's raining too hard and it's dark, which means he won't be running off anywhere on foot.
I still know the truth. When the storm is over and when his car is found.
By the morning, you'll be happy to keep the secret. Oh, that would be the nausea I warned you about. Oh, the Dow is up. I hope you made it upstairs in time.
I did.
You should drink your chocolate.
No, thank you.
It'll help settle your stomach and your nerves.
My nerves are settled.
Enough that we can talk?
I don't want to talk.
Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. Now drink up. There's nothing in it. Good. You're probably confused right now.
Not in the least. You're a murderer. There is nothing confusing about that.
You're sad about Orlando.
No. I hate you for Orlando.
And you're afraid.
One out of three is a bad purpose. I am afraid.
There's no need to cry. You're my wife. We can get through this together.
Get through what? What are you talking about?
I should explain things to you. Would you like that?
Please do.
I have to help you understand what's happened to me, how I've changed.
Change. That's what you call murdering my best friend?
Because if you don't understand, if your will continues to resist mine, I'll have to make you go away. I've dug several holes in my weekend walks through the woods, but you don't have to end up in one of them.
What's happened to you?
For the first time in my life, I feel completely free. Oh, I don't care about tenure or promotion. Colleagues and students mean nothing to me. All that matters is what I experience. Oh, my senses are like they've never been before. Colors have never been so vivid. Food has never tasted so good. And every touch feels like the first time all over again. I first noticed these changes a few weeks ago when I hung the painting. I began to feel like I could do anything, make others do anything. as if the painting had given me an extraordinary power over people.
Orlando said it was the painting.
It wasn't hypnosis or brainwashing or drug-induced mind control. It was simply a matter of will.
He said it was like the picture of Dorian Gray, only worse.
One day everything became clear. I realized that a mind free of conscience and concern could impose itself on a more conventional mind.
What do you mean?
People want to be led. Therapy, politics, religion, fashion, war. People want to be told what to do, what to wear, what to think.
That is not completely true.
Oh, of course it is. The average person can be controlled if you find the right path into his mind.
The right path.
Well, and who better to find that path than a psychologist, trained to read personalities as easily as adults read Dr. Seuss. Or a teacher. Andre Chikatilo was a teacher.
Who?
Chikatilo. He killed 54 trusting souls before Soviet authorities caught up with him. I'm a teacher. A good one. Saying next to nothing, I convinced my students and several faculty to dislike the most popular girl on campus. After that, seducing Jeremy was easy. So was killing her. Derek. Derek was the easiest of them all, which is why he finally hanged himself in his cell today. Not everyone succumbed, of course. You were more difficult, because I knew you best. When I probed your mind, I saw myself blocking each of the doorways. This house, our marriage, a baby. Then, I found out you'd stolen that woman's book, and I realized
My imagination was gone. I was desperate.
it was the painting. It worked its way into you the same way it worked its way into me. And now I have a chance to make you a junior partner in this astonishing freedom.
I don't understand.
A freedom like you've never known. A freedom to do whatever you want. No boundaries, no limits, no rules.
Don't we need rules?
Rules are for prey, not predators. I need a partner, Bev. Someone to share in the joy of the hunt, the thrill of the kill.
You want me to kill?
Carefully. Cleverly. Artfully.
There's holes in the woods.
I want you to join me in the creation of a masterpiece.
All of this is evil.
Yes. And it's delicious.
I love you, Marcus. I love you so much.
I love you too. That's why I'm giving you the chance to share this with me.
I told Orlando that I would do everything I could to get you back.
This is the only way to get me back.
You okay?
But I do know the strength of your will.
You don't know what you think you do.
Question is, can you share this with me and not try to thwart me?
I don't know. You tell me.
Your father's target gun.
Remember, I know how to shoot.
That little toy.
At this range, it's not enough to do the job.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You went looking for evil, but it found you instead.
You can't shoot me, Beth. I found complete freedom.
No, we have to end this here.
Listen to me.
I have to stop you, Marcus.
You can't stop me.
I have to try! You went looking for the switch to turn evil off.
Beverly, don't do this.
But I'm afraid, Marcus, that there are too many switches hidden in too many souls.
Don't do this.
But if everyone had the chance to turn
No, I'm sorry about canceling the interview. No, I can't meet you later for cocktails. Actually, I'm not even in New York. Beverly Hatcher's place, in the middle of nowhere. I flew in last night. Oh, no, I'm not going to stay in this house. I couldn't bear to. I rented a car and I got a motel room about 30 miles away. Loose ends. The new owner is closing this afternoon, and as executor of the estate, I had papers to sign. And I'm getting the last of Beverly's things that I wanted. No, she didn't have any other family. Neither did Marcus. Deja vu all over again. But at least Orlando rented. It was easier to settle his affairs. Sure, we're rushing both books into print. 2 best-selling authors murdered by one's husband. Can you think of better publicity? The last Daniel Castle and the last Skip Dendridge. My bosses think it'll even go into 10 printings easily. No, I missed the rebroadcast. I saw it the first time 3 months ago. How did I feel? I used to watch Most Wanted USA just to catch a glimpse of Marcus's occasional analysis. I know. Marcus is one of the smartest people I know. No, I don't know why he did it. This is hard. You know what? Off the record? No, I don't think they're ever going to catch him. He drained all 4 bank accounts before he disappeared, even before the bodies were discovered. Sure, I'm glad I live in a secure building. I can't imagine why he'd ever come after me. Wait a minute, I hear somebody pulling up outside. I will call you back. Yeah, I'll play when I get back. All right, bye. Oh, you must be the new owner, Mr. Grant.
Call me Carl. You must be Miss Kyle. The lawyer said you might still be here.
Call me Annalise. I'll be on your way in just a few minutes.
Take all the time you need. But the few things I have out in my van can wait to commit.
Are your movers coming later?
Oh, no. Everything I have is outside.
Everything?
Oh, everything that's left. Every few years, I just start over from scratch.
What an interesting approach to life.
Oh, one of the selling points in this house was all the furniture left by. Well, I know the place has a certain notoriety.
I'm just glad it's sold. Being responsible for it was draining me in ways you can't even begin to imagine.
Were you related to the owners?
Yes, I was a friend of the wife. Speaking of wife, how does yours feel about living here?
She passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was a long time ago. You couldn't have known.
Well, then what do you do, Mr. Carl?
Well, Annalise, I'm kind of retired.
Kind of young to be retired.
Oh, good investments in my youth. My wife's life insurance. If I'm careful and my stocks don't do too badly, why, I never need to work again.
Then how do you spend your time?
Oh, reading, traveling, taking courses.
You're in school?
Oh, no. I take classes every now and then because I like knowing things. Lately, I've been trying my hand at painting.
Really?
It's one of the reasons I took this house so far away from everything. If I can spend a few years away from people, distractions, I can concentrate on my work. See if I can take it to the next level.
You're working on a masterpiece, huh?
Enough about me. Tell me about yourself.
What do you want to know?
Lawyer said you were some type of book publisher?
Editor. Beverly Hatcher, the wife, She was one of my writers, as was Orlando Gaines, the other victim. I'm sorry.
No apology necessary. I understand how hard it must be for you to be here. Oh, but please, don't feel the need to leave quickly.
You're very kind, Carl.
You're even prettier than the lawyer said you were.
You think I'm pretty?
I think you're beautiful. Annalise, I would love to paint you.
Me?
Yes.
Nude? Perhaps?
Oh, if you wouldn't mind hanging naked over my fireplace for as long as I live here. That way, I could look at you every day.
I almost forgot. There's a painting already above the mantel. I'd like to take it with me.
Oh, is that them, your friends?
Yes.
Nice looking couple.
Yes, they were.
But you'll look better in that spot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't care why. I just look forward to having you do it again. Maybe when you pose for me.
My plane leaves tonight. I have no reason to come back.
Change your flight. Let me give you a reason to stay.
Stay?
At least for tonight. New York will still be there tomorrow. And after tonight, maybe you'll have a reason to come back here.
Maybe.
Let me paint you by the fire all night. Your skin, your eyes, your figure. You'll make a perfect picture.